Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Craps. Yep, tonight's Monday night, and that means we have another interview to bring to you. We are live on YouTube. If you are watching this in, after we've recorded it and archived it, I'm sorry, it's not live then, but today it is. We've got a very special guest with us today. We've got Paul Paiva joining us, and you know,
Hey
Paul and
Dave,
I. Hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Uh,
good, good.
so, so Paul and I have been Facebook friends for quite a while, and we've just been exchanging emails back and forth, texting, and I've come to respect Paul's strategies. And you're going to see some pictures of here in a few minutes of some great wins. And we're just going to we're just going to hang out with Paul tonight and get his philosophy on the game of craps, learn a little bit about him, and see if we can't take something away for when we're at the craps table. So, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey Dave, good evening. Thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. So let's get this started by maybe just telling us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Sure. So I'm Paul. I live here in Portland, Oregon. I'm actually in the military. I'm here on shore duty, and I'm originally from Hawaii, from the Big Island of Hawaii, from a little town of Hilo. And I've only been playing craps now for probably about 2 years. My dad got me into craps, and I was with him in Vegas a couple years back for New Year's. And we were at the craps table, we were at the Palace Station, New Orleans, and whatnot. And it was such an exciting game. I had some basic concepts then with my dad, and it was more or less throwing, not really focusing on betting strategies, but just having a good time with my dad and spending quality time with him there for those few days. And it's actually when I left, I started my pursuit of craps knowledge, and that's when I came to your site, same bet. That's when I came up to Rick, Let It Roll, Jeremy from Color Up, Bones Thrower, and some other folks on YouTube that I'm sure everyone else has seen, predominantly on YouTube. And that's where I got my knowledge from. And
Nice.
from that, yeah, and from those channels, from your mentoring online, I kind of just started to feel the way of the craps game. Losing initially a lot more than winning, which has what I've been doing most recently. So the journey has been like most people I could say, the journey is a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you lose more than you win, right? I think that's how most people start off. And at that point, you make a decision. Either you stick with it and you want to learn more and get your game better, or you decide to yourself, you know what, this game isn't for me. You hang up your hat and you try something else. But I stuck with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey,
and I and I'm glad I.
before we get too far, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a
Sure,
couple of comments. Actually, we got Googs50. He's actually watches a lot of our videos here, asking some questions. He wants to know: do you still have
sure.
family over there in Hawaii?
I do. So majority of my family are in Hawaii. Um, yeah, Big Island, Hawaii from Hilo. I've got some folks on Oahu. Um, and that's about it. I don't have any family in the neighboring islands. And I have an aunt and uncle here in Eugene, but Hawaii is 99% of my family is in Hawaii, so I'm here by myself.
He calls it the 808 state. I don't know that reference.
Yep, Hawaii. Yeah, the area code for Hawaii is 808.
Oh, eight area code. Okay, okay. Duh.
808. Yes, yes.
Awesome. All right, Googs. If you have any more questions for Paul, just drop them in the chat, and we'll get to them. Uh, so so you're a relative newcomer to this game. So am I. Really, I've
I
only been
am.
playing for a couple of years, and you've been playing a little bit less than that, I believe. So,
Yes.
so tell me about your first actual casino experience in playing craps.
So that would probably be, man, several years ago. This is probably when I turned 21 years old. I was living in Hawaii. My dad took me to Vegas for my birthday, and we had a good time. And I fooled around back then. I wasn't, it was like, hey, okay, I'm in my pop, we're gonna shoot some dice, and it was a fun game. And then after that, it just kind of just went to nothing because obviously in Hawaii we have no casinos, right? So short of you going to Vegas, that's the only opportunity you have to play. Fast forward several years down, joined the military, and then I was in San Diego, California. We have a lot of Indian casinos there, and I actually started going more repetitively. But at the time, I didn't play craps because it was the card craps, and I didn't quite understand the card crap concept. So I focused on poker and blackjack, and that's really where my gambling kick started. Was poker and blackjack. And then not until 2 years ago that I moved to Oregon, that we have a lot of Indian casinos in my area. Matter of fact, no matter north, south, east, or west, there's about a dozen or so casinos within an hour's drive. The nearest to me is 25 minutes in Washington State. So I actually, within the last, 2 years, I started going almost every day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome getting to go every day. Got a couple more
Yeah. So I was
questions.
going, yeah, I was going every day. And I only play for 2 hours max. I don't
Yeah,
stay longer than 2 hours, simply because bad things happen.
yeah, yeah. So Googs wants to know also, do you know a Moku Paiva?
Moku Paiva used to be I want to say he was a baseball player for University of Hawaii, the Rainbows, but no, we're not related. But from folks from Hawaii, I get that question like, "Hey, are you related to Moku?" I'm like, "No, no, not related."
Awesome. And we got Let It Roll out there watching and say, "What up, brother?" And Dave and brother
Hey,
Paul.
what's up, Rick?
Hey, good evening, Rick. Rick, hang in there for a few minutes if you would. We're gonna, uh, you know what, Rick? Actually, I'm gonna text you over something if you have the chance to jump in. I'd like for you to jump on the call. Paul, why don't you take over for a minute
Yes,
and tell us a little bit about some of your go-to betting strategies and go-to dice sets.
sure. So my style of play is not like most people. I don't stay on the table too long, so when I'm up to shoot, I use basically the 2-1-1-2 set. I get a lot of 11s off of that, a few sevens. Once the come out roll, the point is established. I do wait after one roll, so I do a one count. So the point is established. I don't put any money up other than my pass line, and I roll the dice. If an inside number appears, 4 to 10, that's when I use my money in the table, and I start off with 76 inside, heavy 5 and 9 to include the point if it happens to be the points on the number, and then I don't do any odds on my pass line. I just do heavy 5 and 9. Um, I don't collect and press and collect. I don't do that strategy. I'm in it to get in and get out. So I use 2 to 3 hits. I bring it down, and I just hope to make the point and make my even money 100% on my pass line. And that's that.
So I think
Now, if I
you,
go
you
ahead,
mentioned that you get some of your strategies by watching me on YouTube and some of the others. You probably picked up a
absolutely
bad
right.
habit of not playing your odds. I get in
I
trouble for
know,
that
and
all the
I
time.
get a lot of heat for that. I get a lot of heat from my friends. I get a lot of heat from the stick is like, hey, that's the best bet. There's no, it's like almost free money, right? But put it this way: if you don't hit the point consistently, and you put single odds, double odds, triple odds, or even 5 times odds, $50 over a course of play, and you don't hit the point, that's a lot of money that you're losing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So knowing that fact, I rather go heavy on the inside numbers, where I know in the first 5 rolls I'm gonna connect, and I rather make my money that way, do a hop or two, right? Make the extra money there, bring it down, and then all I have exposed is $10, right? Where you have player two that may have $44 inside, and he's collecting, pressing, collecting, right? And now let's say player two has $130 inside. I made my money. I got my $10 pass line. A seven rolls. I'm out $10. He's out 130 plus whatever house money that he was pressing with his numbers. And he may have only made $30 if he collected any of it.
Yeah.
Right. So everyone has their own style of play. I'm not saying that my style of play is better than anybody else's play. I'm just saying that it works for me because I'm not really consistent in hitting my points. If I was, yeah, I would go five times my pass line. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Because I'm confident I'm going to hit the point. But 60 to 70% of the time, I don't. So knowing that fact, I would not want to risk extra money knowing that it's a 50-50 chance of myself hitting the numbers. So I would rather go heavy on the inside numbers, take my two or three hits down, make my two or three hits rather, and bring it all down. So now I've got my original, the money that I made on the numbers, right? And then all I have is my pass line exposed.
Yeah. So we have Grant out there asking a question. Do you reinvest your first hit or do you just rack it?
I rack it.
So, so you
Yeah, I'm not
you'll
a
play it
yeah,
out. You'll play out whatever you start with. I know that
right.
you're a higher roller than I am. So I don't know, 440, 660. I don't know what you're doing
Yeah,
nowadays, but you put a little bit of money out there, and so
yeah.
you'll leave it out there. So if you're doing an inside
So I
strategy, you're going to have five
yeah,
win or what is it, four wins to break even.
four. Yep, to break even. Yep.
Yeah,
But typically, if I'm gonna be there for 2 hours, if I go 76 inside, honestly, I take three hits, and that's not even breaking even. That's just taking three hits, right? Six and eight will pay you 21, right? Five and nine will pay you 28. So whichever the combination, I take three hits
have
max,
five
and
win
I'm
or what
down.
is it? Sorry
There
to
he
interrupt
is.
you here, Paul, but I just brought in a special guest. We've got Rick from Let It Roll.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey,
What's
good
going on,
afternoon,
Rick?
Rick. Oh no, we've got some audio issues. Guest has muted themselves.
Pay you
Uh-oh.
21, right? Five and nine will pay you 28. So
Oh, I can
whichever
hear he's
whichever the
listening to this.
combination, I take three hits
Have
max,
five
and
win
I'm
or what
down.
is it? Give us a
There
second,
he
guys.
is.
Interrupt you here, Paul, but I just brought in a special guest. We've got Rick from Let It Roll.
Yeah, buddy.
Rick scared him. Yeah, Rick is saying you're muted.
That I muted. That I am
No,
muted. Oh,
Rick's feed is on mute,
oh, got it.
and it won't let me unmute him. All right. Well, we'll come back to Rick here in a minute. Rick, just interrupt us if you can hear us. All right, man. Sorry to bother you in the middle of that, but I saw Rick
Oh
was on
no,
here, and we're going to talk about Rick here in just a few minutes. So I was hoping to maybe get him on live. The joys of live streaming, right?
absolutely.
All right, so we talked a little bit about some of the dice stats, talked a little bit about betting strategies. I gotta go. I gotta say, in full disclosure, man, I've been trolling your Facebook page, and there's three things. There's three things that I learned about Paul, and I'm gonna have you talk a little bit about them. I believe that you like beer, Green Bay, and
F-
good food.
facts,
All
facts,
facts.
all true.
All right, so I guess tell us a little bit about that. How does a guy from Hawaii like Green Bay?
Oh man, so Hawaii is predominantly a San Francisco 49er fan, you're a Raider fan, or you're a Cowboy fan, right? So Raiders, Cowboys, San Francisco. If you're from Hawaii, that's the top three, right? Well,
Yeah.
I'm a Green Bay fan. I've always been a Green Bay fan. Don't know why. I don't like cheese as much as Wisconsin, right? Cheeseheads. Um, but I just love the Packer organization. Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. I mean, he just had a phenomenal game yesterday against Chicago. Um, And that's my team. Go. It's people think
So
I'm
I,
nuts, but
full disclosure, I don't follow football a whole lot, but a Green Bay win over Chicago, that's not that big of a deal anymore, is it?
no, but for the series and for the playoffs, it's an important game. It's a win for them. It's continuing their winning streak. I hope to get to the playoffs. I'm confident they will. I'm confident they'll go to the Super Bowl. That's being a little bit going ahead of myself in that, so I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But yeah, good beer, good food, and the Green Bay Packers. Life is great, and craps naturally, so life is good.
Yeah, life is good. Yeah, as you have some very impressive meals that you've posted pictures of. Uh, Garlic lobster and all sorts of goodies.
Don't
Uh,
forget the honey.
and don't forget the honey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very nice. All right, let's see if we can bring Rick back in here. I'm going to try one more time. In fact, give me just 1 second. I'm going to see if I can do a custom screen
Okay.
here. Pull in video, and let's see if we can get Rick. Hey, Rick, can you hear us now? Yeah, we've definitely got some audio issues. Rick, it's just not working, buddy. All right, so let's come back over here, and I'm just gonna. There we go. We dropped Rick. He'll probably try to join us here again in just a minute.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Yep. Stay tuned. All right, so I said I was trolling your Facebook page, and I wanted to give the viewers a little bit of an idea of maybe just how good of a craps player you actually are. And there's a term for this. There's a term for this. They call it chip porn. It's when people are posting pictures of all of their winnings, and people definitely get envious, including me. I mean, that's some impressive wins. And this is just a couple that you've posted out over time. Sure. Rick's saying, okay, he's just going to enjoy the show from the sidelines today. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to show a couple of your winnings. Now, I want to go back, and I'm sorry, I was trying to get Rick on the phone, and I couldn't. Sure. I didn't hear what you said. What is your kind of your go-to bet? We our buddy Ting, he likes the stimulus. Yep. Do you go that deep?
Yep. I do.
Yeah. So explain to everybody what the stimulus actually is.
Oh man, I want to give out my man's secret, but since you've already brought it up, it's not a secret no more, right? So yeah. The stimulus. So during this pandemic, initially everyone got $1,200. Well, most of us did, right? I got it, Ting got it, some other folks got it. So the stimulus is basically putting in $1,200 inside, taking one hit and down. So you're basically putting 300 in your 5, 300 in your 6, 3 on 8, 3 on 9, 1,200 inside. And basically what you're doing is you're just getting one hit and you're going to bring everything down. And the only reason why you're going 1,200 inside is to make up what you lost on your previous roll on your second level of play. So let me explain that for a second. So I use a level system in play. If it's a $10 minimum table, I do 76 inside. If I hit a 7, which is fine, then the next time that I roll, I have to level up to level 2 to recover my 76 plus make a little bit money, so I'm ahead of the game. So my level 2, so after level 1 of 76, my level 2 is 266 inside. So if I lose my 266 inside, I have to go to level 3 at 300 on each number, 5, 6, 8, and 9. One hit will cover me on my level 1 and 2, plus bring me a profit. I bring everything down, and all I have up is my $10 pass line. Or sometimes I'll just put up $44, take a couple hits, bring it down, or whatever have you. So that's a stimulus.
Do you only do the stimulus on yourself, or will you do the stimulus on other rollers?
I will do it on Ting. because I know Ting can hit the numbers, and it's vice versa. When we were in Vegas, Ting had 3,800 on me, right?
Yeah.
Um, or was it? I can't remember. He had something. He had every number covered, 4 to 10, 3,800, and
Chip
it was
coin.
something large. I know it was a few thousand. I know that. And the first number that I rolled was a 10, hard 10.
Okay.
So naturally, that paid Ting 2 to 1. And then he brought it down, and then he went big again. I think then he went 1,800 across, and I hit a 9 for him. So if you know the person can shoot, and you know the person's numbers, like my numbers are 5 and 9. So Ting goes heavy on 5 and 9 because he knows that I'm going to shoot a 5 or 9.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when he was up big, I was shooting 5s and 9s, and
Very
I,
nice.
set my dice to shoot the 5 and 9. So, um, Ting would be probably the only person that I would do it big on. If it's other random shooters, I'm just a 6 and 8 with a don't pass if I don't know the person.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of brings me to, oops, it didn't come out right. Let me fix this. One of the sayings that Rick from Let It Roll is very fond of. Uh,
Yeah.
Can you see it on the screen? I can't see. No fear, no mercy. Fear does not exist on this craps table. I'm sorry that the font size is so small, but
Yeah.
that
So I took it a little further. So Rick is no fear, focused, disciplined, smart, and fact. Those are 100% true words. Um, in order to survive this game of craps, number one, you have to focus. That's paramount.
yeah.
You know, you have to be disciplined. You have to stick to your battle rhythm. You can't change it. It's like a recipe card for success. If you want your product to turn out great, you got to follow the instructions. You got to follow the recipe card. You can't deviate because then the product is not going to turn out the way it's supposed to. It's like the game of craps. You got to have your discipline. You can't change your discipline. You know, if you say you're going to play for 2 hours, you cash out on the second hour on the nose. Not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes. No, you play for 2 hours. You're in and out, right? And you gotta play smart. You gotta know to when to make a large bet. You gotta know when to take off your bets. You gotta know, um, those sort of things to be successful. Because if you don't, in the long run, you're gonna lose, and you're gonna lose big, right? So, focus, discipline, smart, and when you get to the table with the Giants, you got to have no fear, right? The fear leaves the moment you walk into the casino. You leave all that fear behind you, right? And when I just take it further, I'm like, fear does not exist on this craps table. Taking a spin off of Karate Kid, right? The first Karate Kid. I'm aging myself. When Sensei Kreese is in the dojo, he says, fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei. Right? Same thing with craps. Fear does not exist on this craps table that you're playing at because you have to be fearless, right? Um, you have to go in there with confidence, shoot as best as you can, right? Because you want to make money not only for yourself but for the people around you, as best as you can. But then it comes down to being focused and being disciplined, right? It's how you practice at home if you're fortunate to have your own practice rig or table. The mechanics, you have to get your mechanics correct. Because if your mechanics is not correct, when you actually get into a live casino, it's going to come unraveled. But you can't do that. You have to, as best as possible, pick up the dice with confidence and throw.
Now you
If you
talked a little bit
seven
about.
out,
I was going to say you talked a little bit about discipline in relationship to time. But what about win goals and loss limits? Do you uh, use any of those kind of strategies?
So absolutely, absolutely, and that's a big part of it, right? So before you even get into your car to drive to the casino, you have to figure out number one, what is going to be what's your percentage of profit? How much money do you want to make today? You got to have a number in your head. You just can't go there willy nilly and just see what happens. No, you have to go in there with a number in your head, and that's the profit you're going to make for that session, right? So for me, my target is 30%. Most crap forums will tell you 20% of your bankroll is a great start, right? So I use 30%. It's a little bit more aggressive, but I bet heavier on the table. So that's why it's my 30%. So whatever my bankroll is, 30%. Once I hit that 30%, whether it's 2 hours, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, once I hit that, I'm done because I'm not out there trying to be a millionaire. I'm not out there to be greedy, right? I'm out there to have a good time, make some money, and that make some money is my percentage target. It's 30%. Same thing with my loss limit, right? So I have a loss limit. So whatever my bankroll is, my loss limit is half. So if I come in with 1,000 and I'm down 500, I'm done for the day. I'm not going to sit there and try to come back and use a stimulus or something else to come back and win the difference because now you're not focused. You're not going to be disciplined because now you're going to be doing something crazy, and you're not playing smart, and that's going against the principles. So 50%, half my bankroll is my stop loss. If I get to that point, color up, I'm out the door. It's best to go home with money than with no money, right? It sucks that you're only going with half, but sure a lot better to go home with half than zero, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think ego wise, I think you feel a lot better about yourself knowing that you gave it your best, you didn't hit your mark, go home, practice, recalibrate, get your mind right, go back to the casino and hit it hard, get your money and get out.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I did a show and we talked about the different types of gamblers, and there's date night gamblers, recreational gamblers, semi-professionals, and professionals, and I would rank you probably in that semi-professional category.
No.
Uh, no,
No.
no. Well, and the reason I
No.
say that though is your discipline. You do have a code of conduct, I guess is one of the ways to put it, and you follow that. You don't easily tilt. You'll accept the
No.
loss and come back to fight another day. But
Absolutely.
we established earlier in the show that you like beer. So what about
I
beer
do.
and craps? Do they mix?
Okay. Ooh, that's a loaded question, right? Because drinking, um, oh man, that's a loaded question. So I'm just gonna go with it. Do I advocate drinking while you're gambling? Absolutely not. However, when you drink, you tend to be a little bit more friendlier. You have a little better of a time because you're now BSing with the stick man, you're BSing with the pit boss. You're like this weekend in Vegas, right? There was a gal there. Was her birthday. I was feeling no pain. I was already up. I was doing hot bets for her. I was putting money on the hard ways for her. She's never played the game, so I'm trying to win her some money. I'm putting some yos out there, for her. And even for the crew, the all tall, small, make them all. I was even doing it all three on the crew. Um, Now, would I have done that if I wasn't drinking? Probably not. But because I was drinking, at that point, because I was already up, I was having fun, right? I wanted this person to come in, leaving the casino saying, wow, craps is a wonderful game. I really want to learn more. And that's what it's all about. It's being an ambassador of the game and introducing other people who have never played that comes to the table. And of course, I'm talking to people. It's like, hey, this is how you play. This is how I think you should play.
Yeah.
There's another gentleman to my right. He was losing mad. I mean, not a lot, but the point would come and the seven would roll and he's out of his money. I said, look, dude, once the point is made, do the one count. What's the one count? Wait until the roll is done. If it's a craps number, don't do anything. Wait for another point to roll off a 4 to a 10. Once that hits, then you put your money on the table. And he saved himself so much money from that point forward with that point seven out. He came up to me later and said, bro, that was the best advice anyone has given me in my life. And I will tell you, I says that was given to me not so long ago, and that has even saved me on my own rolls. So the one count is a very invaluable tool to be in your toolbox.
Yeah. We kind of going back to the original question, uh, alcohol and the game, does it mix? You know,
Sure.
if you
Um.
follow the books, if you follow the
Yep.
professionals, then they're going to say no,
Yep.
absolutely no way ever.
Correct. Yep.
But
Again,
they're
yeah.
also the ones that are probably at the tables that they're not having any fun. They might be making some money, but
True.
this is still a game.
Um.
And a lot of us do
Right.
this for
So,
recreation.
right. If you walk in a casino, Dave, do you see people making big noise at slot machines?
Yeah, sometimes.
Unless they win a big jackpot, right? But
Yeah,
ordinarily,
most of them are
when you walk
zombies.
by
They're
slot
just press a
machines,
button, press a
most of them
button,
are
press a
zombies,
button.
right? They're just chain smoking and they're just tapping, 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 right? Okay, cool. When you go by a blackjack table, do you see a lot of people laughing, talking, having a good time, cheering? No.
No.
But when you go to a craps table, you will find people laughing, clapping, shooting the business with the players, right? If there's no plexiglass. And people are drinking. Now, you're right. Professionals, the books, seminars, forums, never drink when you gamble. Bad business, bad decisions. Well, I find the opposite. I find that you make good friends. Um, you build a camaraderie with the pit crew, the stick men, right? You're giving them money to make them bets. You're making them happy. And you just have a better time. It's just a better vibe. Even the don't players are having a good time, and they're playing the don't. So everybody's having a good time. Now, when you bet, you got to be careful because your bankroll is going to be affected by that decision. And I've seen where players bet big, big, big money on the table, right? But these players who bet big, they do well they actually do a little bit better drinking when they're not drinking, if that even makes sense. And I've seen it happen many times.
Yeah,
Um, I don't advocate it hardly. I only drink because my buddy drinks, so I drink to be social. But there's a difference between drinking and being belligerent and being a drunk. And none of my
absolutely.
friends are belligerent who I play with. None of them are to the point where they're being jackasses. Um, they're there to have a good time. So I limit my drinking to baby. I've been in Vegas. I can tell you, I probably had at the table no more than 4 drinks. And after that, I started drinking iced tea.
Yeah.
Um, and I drink light beers anyway. So, it's not going to make me all crazy. And
All
when I
right.
do
So
drink, I only
go ahead.
play the pass line. I'm not putting any big money on the table.
Limit your bets. Yeah. Limit your exposure. Yeah, that's good, great
Absolutely.
advice. So there's another thing that you and I have in common. And I think the only way to put this is swag. We both enjoy our swag. And I've got
Swag.
a
Yes.
picture of some of our favorites up here. Uh, and
Oh,
this is one of the
yes.
reasons I also wanted Rick from Let It Roll on here. That both of us, we have one of his T-shirts that we like to wear when we're at the
Yes.
casino. And in fact, right now I'm wearing my Craps Hawaii polo from
Cool.
Milam Ho. Uh,
Yep.
Up in
Mr.
the
Miyagi.
corner, yeah, Mr. Miyagi. Up in the corner, I have a mask that I like to wear at the casino from Toothpick Ted. Uh,
Yep.
uh, I've got carrying case, a little backpack or case for from Golden Touch Craps, and then of course our Craps Nation
Nice. I've seen
dice
that. Yep.
and our chips. Uh, you just gotta enjoy the swag, right?
Oh, you do.
And
And you know
and
something, Dave? Yeah.
and I was gonna say, you and I talked
It
about this a little bit before. I,
yes.
the power
Those
of the shirt. Tell us
yes.
about the power of the shirts.
The power of the shirts, man. It's like your superhero outfit.
Yeah.
Um, it is. I can't explain it, but I will tell you this: every time that I've worn the two shirts for Male Craps Hawaii, and Rick's Let It Roll, every session that I've had, true story, I have not lost.
You got a good streak
I
going.
don't I don't know. I don't know, but every time I use it to include Vegas, it's a magnet. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. It just gives me like I'm not when I'm wearing this shirt, I'm not Paul. My alter ego, I'm my alter ego, my craps alter ego. I don't even have a name for my craps alter ego because I'm not even good. I'm just a guy just has a love for the game, right? But I'll tell you that the power of the shirt is magnetic. It gives powerful energy to me, and I know when I wear the shirt, I'm walking out with money.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm actually wearing my Craps Hawaii shirt right now.
Yeah, I see it.
And when I'm in the casino wearing a Craps Hawaii shirt, you'd be surprised at how many people ask questions about it. I didn't know there was a
Yes,
casino in Hawaii.
yes.
It's like, well, no, there isn't, but have some good
There
friends up
isn't. Yeah, I
there.
get it. Oh, yeah, yeah, same likewise. And I go out into my casinos and they're like, "What's that shirt you're wearing?" And
Yeah.
I show them that Let It Roll, no fear, and they just get a kick. And they're
Yeah,
like, "Dude, that is so cool."
it is. It's a conversation starter.
It
I
is.
like wearing and these guys are my friends. I like to support them
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
and promote their channels and promote their things as well. So
Yep. Now,
uh,
I wish what I had, Dave, with me is a business card with all of your folks' YouTube, like your picture and like your YouTube channel. So when I
yeah.
wear the shirt and people ask me, I can just hand out cards and I'm like, hey, if you want to take your game to the next level, check out these folks on YouTube. I guarantee you, once you watch their material, your game will improve like it has mine. So here's a card.
Well,
If you want to up your game,
when it's been about a year ago that I started with the Craps Nation chips. I made one for my channel, and the real
yep,
reason that I made the chips was I wanted to put a couple in my pocket and take them with me when I went to the casino. And
smart.
if somebody recognized me, I would give them one of my chips. But the thing
Nice.
is, I play at the same casino over and over and over, and these guys know me and they don't care. They just don't care. Uh,
That's
so,
cool though.
so yeah, but that's my calling card is one of my chips, and I need to order some
Very
more and,
cool.
and have them with me. Yeah.
That and that and it's branding. That's your brand. You are
Yes,
your own brand. And so, like you said, yeah, people recognize you. That's just how you are reaching out and monopolizing on your channel by branding, by your brand. So absolutely.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna do a couple of Q&A questions here, real quick from the audience, and then I want to get to my last topic of the night. And I'm going to
Sure.
spoil it a little bit. The last topic of the night is I want you to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving in Las Vegas. And I see Toothpick
Oh
Ted's
boy.
out there watching right now, and he's making some comments.
Yep. I met
I know that
Ted.
you got to meet
Yep.
Ted and shoot with him for a little
Yeah.
while. So I look
Absolutely.
forward to your trip report on that. But before we get there, let's come back to some of the questions. Kyle is asking, what happens on those hour-long rolls? How do you capitalize on a long roll?
Hey, Kyle. So I don't put too much thought into it. I just roll. I have my typical 76 inside. I do 3 hits. And there's a lot of times I don't even capitalize on myself. I mean, call me crazy, and I get a lot of heat for that from my one friend. Um, but for me, it's just I make mine and I keep rolling so I can make other people money. And I guess I don't capitalize on myself. I should. I just want people on the table to make money off of me, because I know I'm confident where my next session is going to come in. I'm going to make money anyways.
Mhm.
And if I tend to go big, I know I connect and I'll know I'll make my money. So yeah, I'm not greedy by no means. I just do my thing. I roll, have a good time, and that's it.
Yep. Yep. Very good. Very good. Let's see here. Toothpick Ted says he's played with some folks that were from Hawaii and they knew of Mel too.
Yeah,
Nice.
Mel's real known. Absolutely.
Robert Barnes out there. Great video. Which was your favorite casino on your last trip? So we already spoiled it that you just got back from Vegas. Where did you like to
Right.
play?
I like Golden Gate.
Golden Gate. Okay.
Golden Gate they re-renovated and they have like this Prohibition Al Capone theme going on. So all the dealers, the stickmen, they're wearing like pinstripe suits, fedora hats. It was a really cool vibe. The table was vibrant. I like the schematic of the layout of the table. Burgundy table, it was a beautiful table. Um, and I just overall like the vibe. So I would say, other than the hotel that I stayed at, Golden Gate's table was pretty right on.
Nice. Nice. All right, I'm just scrolling through the comments to see if there's any other questions out there. So if anybody has questions for Paul, just go ahead and post them in here, and we'll bring them in. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what it was like being in Las Vegas over Thanksgiving?
Oh man! So of course, pandemic, COVID, was the back of my mind the entire time of the trip, and but honestly, Vegas was almost like a ghost town, believe it or not. Majority of the casinos were open. Not that many people in the casino, which made going on the table a lot easier. Matter of fact, when we went to Fremont Street before we met up with Tupic, we went to Binion's and two tables. The first table was full. The second table was empty. So it was me, my two buddies, and we just went on the table, and people came in. Um, Made 1 hour, cashed out 200 and whatever, $220, which is cool. Um, then we went and met up with Ted at Circa. That was a crazy. Circa is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, their sports booking area is the size of Costco. I
Oh
kid you
wow.
not. It's huge. It's like stadium style seating. You go in, there's an escalator. You go down about 2 feet, and then it folds out like a stadium seating with
Nice.
leather seats, huge screens. Like it was something out of an IMAX theater. I'll tell you, it's impressive. So we met with Tupic there. Tables were $15 minimum, but there were 14-foot tables, so most of them were larger tables. Um, but we've got to play with Ted at Golden Gate. That was fun. And then we went back to our hotel at Silverton where we stayed 90% of our time. So I would say Silverton Casino was our base camp. And our team, we wrecked it hard at Silverton.
Nice. Very nice. All right, we
Yeah,
got
we
some
got a
questions
lot of
coming in for
yeah,
you.
and we got a lot of heat too. So that was crazy.
Okay, so Dave 1970 is wanting to know. Oops, wrong question. What was for Thanksgiving dinner, and where'd you eat?
I had Chinese food.
Ping pang pong
No, so there's this noodle shop at the
noodles.
Silverton Casino. So we end up eating Chinese food. It was like I
Nice.
had roast duck and barbecue pork noodles.
I'll take that. That sounds good
It
to
was it
me.
was tasty. It was great. I loved it.
All right, so Grant Samita is wanting to know how many sessions do you plan for in a day?
If I'm at home in Oregon, I just do one session, 2 hours, because the casino's open at 6:30 in the morning. The craps table opens at 10. So when I'm there, I'm the only one there, and I play probably the first hours by myself. The table doesn't get busy until lunch.
Hmm,
So any given time, there's maybe myself, and two other people, and that's it. I play for 2 hours, and I'm out. Matter of fact, the week before Vegas. I played Saturday and Sunday. I made $500 in 45 minutes on Saturday, and I made another $500 on Sunday, same amount of time, 45 minutes. So I only played 90 minutes that weekend, and I made $1,000. I think that's
So
that photo.
I was going to say, I can't remember if this was from Vegas. No, this wasn't from Vegas. This was
Nope, that's from Oregon.
Spirit
That's
Mountain.
from the
Yeah,
Spirit Mountain Casino that I was at, I think a week prior to Vegas.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So I made
Yeah,
a
Dave
thousand bucks.
1970s. Yeah, Dave 1970 saying, Thanksgiving time is good for empty tables. And Robert
Yeah, and
Barnes, I
that's
played at the Golden Gate
yeah.
with East Coast Craps on my last trip. Yep. So we
Oh,
had some
nice.
people from Craps Nation there not too long ago. Slambright saying,
Cool.
Paul, I talk all the time in Skype chat about bad table experiences I've had in Vegas. What's one of your Vegas horror stories?
Um, Man, not necessarily on myself, but I just see people with no discipline. I see a lot of people just press, 7 out, and they only made like a few bucks. Um, and that's with big money and small money. So I think that's a horror story. And then when they go back to reshoot, they're reshooting for the same amount that they had on their previous roll. So they're just trying to catch even and not trying to get ahead. So I mean, I really didn't have a really bad story. I had a good story, Mr. Slambright. I had, and of course, there's a disclaimer. I was drinking when I did this. And again, when you drink, you make bad decisions. Sometimes it can be a good decision. In this case, it was a good decision. Um, I had 280 something dollars on the no, 300 something dollars on the inside second level. I went a little bit more aggressive, and I 0.7 out. And I'm like, oh man, okay, this is going against my stop limit, but I knew I could do it,
Yeah.
right? So I put out $2,000 inside. So I put the most I've ever bet. Stimulus was the biggest. This is taking it to the next level on steroids. Um, King Chang was there. He's seen it. It was crazy. I put $2,000 inside. I hit the 9 back to back twice. That paid 14. That paid 700 each hit. So I took that 1,400 plus the 2,000. I brought it down. So all I had was my $10 pass line, and I can't remember if I hit the point or not. I can't remember. I do remember putting 2,000 up, and I hit the 9 twice back to back.
Kind of went into
And that was
tunnel
using the
vision with that.
yeah, and that was a 2-1, 1-2. I thought I was gonna pee on myself.
Wow.
Um, it could have gone bad naturally, but thankfully it didn't.
All right, let's see. We've got a couple of other comments out here. Texas Crap Shooters. I'm in Dallas, unfortunately. It's a sovereign country distance for me. Choctaw is my go-to. Yeah, so Texas Crap Shooter, you're a few hours south of me, and one of these days we're going to have to meet up at Choctaw. I've never played down there, but
Okay.
I know a lot of the people from Texas are in that area. One of these days we're going to have to make it down there and play together.
Absolutely. Let's do it, brother. I'm in Oregon. I'm here for another year.
Nice.
Yep, another year.
Any idea where you're going after that?
I'm up for orders in February. I'm kind of wanting to stay in Washington State.
Yeah.
There's casinos up there, but if I go to Hawaii, it's kind of junky. Or California, if I go to back San Diego for my last tour, then they got those card craps thing there. I really don't understand. I'll have to learn it, obviously, but Washington State is where I want to go next. That's my goal.
Nice. So we got Googs50 is wanting to know, how was it finding places to eat after hours in Vegas?
After hours is a little rough. We went to Gardo El Taco, and I'm familiar with that in San Diego and Chula Vista, California. But we went to it was like about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. We drove to Taco El Gordo's, and it was packed.
Nice.
So Taco El Gordo, there's a wing place right next door, like for wings. But I'll tell you, man, those tacos, $2, $2.30 a taco. What?
Yeah, I
Crazy
imagine
good.
after getting off the strip, you could find pretty much any kind of fast food place you wanted to eat at after
Oh
hours.
yeah, McDonald's, whatever. But Taco El Gordo is the business.
Yeah. Grant Samita is asking, what was the minimum at Circa? I think you said 15.
$15 at Circa. Yeah, 15. Binion's is 5. But that's the only table we've seen that was $5. Majority of the casinos in Vegas are 15. The
Okay.
D, we went to the D. They were $15.
All right. So we've only got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to see if I can rapid fire some of these questions at you. Dave,
Sure.
1970, logged hours at O'Shea's indoor outdoor table. Good times. Yep, I like O'Shea's. That they only have a single table there, if I remember right. But that was one of my favorite
Okay.
places to play. Slam
Nice.
Bright, Grant, when we were in Vegas at the beginning of November, Circa was 15. Okay, so he's answering the question as well. Toothpick Ted, Circa, large table with newer tables. So a little more
Yep.
bouncy than the harder tables. And that's one thing we didn't get
Okay.
to talk to is
Huh.
about the bouncy tables. So we'll come back to that if we have any time.
Okay. Sure.
Altitude Gambler, he's another fan of O'Shea's. So Dave 1970 is a fan of O'Shea's. Slam Bright, I don't like an empty table. Yeah, let's talk about that one for just a minute. You mentioned a few minutes ago that you like getting there early, and you are the only one at the table.
Yes.
So, do you have a
Yes.
preference? Do you like
I
being by yourself
prefer
or
an
with a
empty
group?
ca- I both, but if I had a preference, I'd rather be there by myself because you don't have chips all around for landmines.
Hmm.
You can just hit your landing zone, get in and get out. You get your dice back quicker to you. Um, so if you can shoot decently and you're by yourself, the only person you really can count on you is yourself, right?
Yeah.
You really can't count on random shooters.
Yep. All right, let's
But that's
keep
why it's
going
called
here.
gambling. Yep.
Yep. We got Craps by Night. He says he loves an empty table. Toothpick Ted, Circa, dancing girls on the platforms in each of the pits during the
Yes.
evenings, and those dancing girls rotate as the dealers do too. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. They
That's
rotate with the
legit.
dealers.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, question for you from Brian Kist. What is your buy-in for that $500? So when you're doing a $500 inside bet, what do you buy
Yep.
in as?
So here's a trick. I buy in for 900. Now when I had to go to level 3, then I had to bust out either the stimulus, so I had to take out an extra 1200 to make that one hit, or get into 2000 and hopefully get a good, hit or two hits. But for that $500, that was doing the stimulus,
Yeah.
1200 inside.
Okay. So you dig back into the wallet when you have to go that deep. So it's an
Yep.
on-purpose decision. Is it the right thing to do
Yes.
or not? Okay, gotcha. Altitude
Yeah.
Gambler says, Slam, I won't talk about me on the table by myself in Blackhawk. There's actually a story there. And all I can say is, Altitude Gambler, you are the best wingman anybody could have in a craps table. So we'll just leave it at that and leave it to people's imaginations. Dave 1970 says, I've got a few stories, I'm sure. Oops. Um, how about when visiting Vegas, number of sessions? Okay, so yeah, earlier you talked about the number of sessions you do, but what about when you're on
Yes.
vacation?
3 sessions: morning, afternoon, and evening.
Okay. Oh, Grant's headed there tomorrow night, so yeah, this is good timing for Grant. All right, I'm going to skip down a couple here. Rob Barnes, did he see anyone get backed off for anything? Binion's backed off East Coast Craps last time when he was shooting into the hook. You said you've got a
No.
little bit of heat.
And so yeah, at our home casino, yes.
Oh, home. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We were getting heat because we were making big bets and taking one hit and bringing it all down. They didn't like that too much.
Okay. This next comment is the comment of the night. Paul's got a bankroll and balls. and, and the balls to use
I
it.
don't
That's
know.
right.
You know, I think it's just luck.
Yeah.
Definitely luck. You know.
Yeah. Lou Louie's out there. Don't play with scared money and be ready to go. That's great advice for everybody.
Absolutely.
Dave 1970, never play with scared money is rule number 7. Dave, you're going to have to
Yep.
explain rules 1 through 6 for me for some time. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can skip down through here. Dave, 1970. He's asking, was Dr. Mike there? And I get that reference. I don't know if everybody will, but there's a podcast called You Can Bet on That with Mark Duvall and Dr. Mike. And Dr. Mike is I don't know, a well-known person in Vegas for tipping and just having a great time at the table. So you would probably know if you were there with Dr. Mike. By the way, just in case they are listening, Mark and Dr. Mike, I emailed you about coming on this show. Please answer the email. So hopefully we'll get them on here one day. Let's see here. Were the minimum bets higher because of COVID?
I
Well,
think so.
I'll say my thought on this. That's what they're blaming it on anyway. It's an opportunity for them to
Sure.
raise the limits. Sure, there are fewer people at the tables, and that's what they're saying is they have to make up the revenue somehow. So fewer
Yes.
players means higher minimums. Most of the strip casinos are 15 to 25 now. South Point Casino
I've
Steakhouse.
got to add on, Dave. I got to add on, Dave, if I could.
Yeah,
Ellis Island Casino is $5 with a 300 max bet. One, two tables, but I'll tell you, friendly staff, great crew. Had a great time. That was the first night. Well, my first night on Wednesday, went to Ellis Island. We made a good killing there, but not a bouncy table, pretty hard surface, and if you want your drinks come to you pretty quickly, and with a fun staff, Ellis Island is a really good place to go to.
yeah. I've never had the opportunity to eat there, but I understand that they have some really good food that's really cheap.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
we'll have to talk about that more on another show. All right, Paul. So we are coming here towards the end. Anything else that you want our listeners to know about who you are and maybe what's up next? Where are you headed to next?
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Dave, for having me on your podcast. This is such a tremendous honor for me. I'm just an everyday guy who loves the game of craps. I'm a recreational player. I don't do this to make a living, obviously, but I do love the game of craps, and I have enough casinos around me to enjoy that game. Um, for all you listeners out there, just have a good time. Don't go in with scared money. Be comfortable with what you can lose. Okay. Have a battle rhythm, have a battle plan before you get to the casino. Um, Figure out what your dice set is. Use that dice set, and you got to have a bankroll. You can't go in there half cocked and have a bad day because we all have bad days. Um, and just have a good time. Just be focused, be disciplined, play smart, and first and foremost, have no fear. Go in there fearless and wreck the tables. You know,
Exactly.
the casinos going to make their money. It's a negative progression game, right? Go in there and wreck them. That's all I can say. Go in there, hit them hard, hit them often, get in and get out.
Yep.
Don't stay too
Yep.
long because if
Great
you do,
advice.
bad things happen.
Yep. That's great advice. All right. One last question. Where is Ellis Island?
Good question. Short of me having to Google it, Ellis Island is off the strip. It's a small, swanky. It reminds me like a '70s casino. The vibe is like '70s ish. It's not like updated with modern anything. It's just a hole in the wall, $5 cheap place to go gamble, and I can tell you'll get your drinks really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did a video on honky tonk casinos. Ellis Island is kind of where I would put that in. It's a small casino
Yes,
located directly behind
yes.
MGM. I wish I could remember the name of that street that's behind it, but you can walk to it from MGM or Bally's. It's in that area right
Okay,
behind, right
okay,
behind it. Yeah. All right, everybody, that's
nice.
going to do it for tonight's show. But before we go, I want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming shows that we have planned. Next week, we have Stories with Howard Rock and Roller Newman. Now, if you've been around the Craps forums for any amount of time, you've probably heard the name Howard Newman. And this is a don't miss episode next week, guys. This is going to be a really fun one to hear about the early days of dice control, some of the movies that he's been in as an artist, and things like that. So looking forward to next week's show. On December 14th, we have Jacob from Wager Me This. He's going to be coming on to talk about what should be in your toolbox. So depending on what kind of gambler you are, here's a couple of different things that you should have in your toolbox and ready to use at your disposal. On December 21st, we've got another special show. We've got Tony Leo and Mark Kilgore going to join us to talk a little bit about Advantage Dice Control, a new program that Tony's putting together, and again, some great stories from Las Vegas. On December 28th, we will be taking that week off to celebrate Christmas and in between Christmas and New Year's. And then on January 4th, Michael Feldman, a friend of mine and a casino host, will be joining the show. Now, I know a lot of people that in our chat groups, they're talking about some East Coast meetups here before too long. If you are in a hurry to make your reservations, please reach out to me first and let me get you some contact information if you can't wait until January 4th. This one is going to be an episode I think that will be good for everybody because independent casino hosts, they're not just for high rollers. You guys know me by now. I am not a high roller, and Michael has helped me on many occasions coming up with some great deals. On January 11th, we're going to be joined by Mel Lamho and Byron, and I can't pronounce his Balisakan. I can't pronounce his last name. And we're actually going to have Paul come back and join us. We're going to talk about the craps culture in Hawaii and some of the stories that they have about Vegas. Now, I've also started to capture a couple of topics that I'd like to address in the future. One of them came to us from our very own Slambright, and I'm going to label it Hollywood Loves to Gamble, and it's going to be about TV shows and movies that feature gambling. So that could be a lot of fun. And then finally, Bone Tracker Basics. I have not approached Mark Evangelisto yet. So if Mark, if you're watching this, this is going to come as news to you. But I'm hoping to get you to come onto the show and really let's dig deep into Bone Tracker and not just the SRR. What do these other tabs in that spreadsheet actually do, and how can it help us with our game? So, guys, that's it. That's this for this show. I hope you saw something in the coming soon episodes that you're going to like to see. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody.